What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we got the step side here. We're going to go over what all changes is going to go through this winter. I know we've been posting some videos about a big change that's going to be happening to it, and I'll go over what's changed on that. So originally, I was going to take the small block out, and I got another vehicle I was going to throw it in, but I'm not going to have the time to build the motor that I was going to put in here, which is a twin turbo LS3, which I was going to just get a stock 5.3 for now, slap some turbos on it just to get it ready before race week, because I got race week coming up between the second and third week in June, I believe it is this year. But I'm not going to have the funds to do that, and I'm not going to have the time to get it all put back together, tested, tuned, and everything. So instead, we're leaving the stock small block in there with the cams and the heads and everything. We're going to be changing out the carb and the fuel pump. Broke it at the last race when I was down at Bandimere. The fuel pump did not like me revving it to 7,000 since it is the stock style mechanical pump. And then there's a couple things I got to change for NHRA regulations. That way they'll okay it at the track. I got to get a driveline loop installed. I got to change the fuel pressure regulator off the firewall and onto the fender. And then I got to actually get a full mount for the catch can, mount my coolant overflow tank, and then just some odds and ends here and there. Maybe get a new fuel cell. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a cage or not yet. I may do just like a 4 or 6 point cage to start. But we'll go over what all I got for it that just showed up, and then a little time lapse of installing a couple new parts. All right, so as you guys can see, still the same small block. I changed out the valve covers from the Trick Flow ones, because the Trick Flow ones, they didn't come with breather holes. And so, let me take this cheapo breather off. As you can see, this one's got a hole with a baffle underneath it, so no oil will splash through. And the Trick Flow ones, I had to cut my own hole into, and it just didn't have a baffle under it, so it wouldn't seal. And so you can see this one's got both sides, just some fabricated aluminum valve covers. That one's going to the catch can, which is zip tied up because the track needed something when I was down there. And you can see I got the Edelbrock AVS2 carb, which has been giving me issues all year. And so that's getting swapped out. Then the fuel pressure regulator is going to have to get mounted over here by the fuel filter. And then I got to fix that cardboard patch in the firewall. I just use that as a temporary patch for driving down the road. And a couple of these other little holes. Then I got to clean up the battery because that just doesn't look real great. And it was just a temporary thing and to get it back going, because parts kept having to be changed out because they weren't working. But let's go over here and you can see the new carb that I got. It's a 850 CFM Holley Brawler race carb, and this is going to be what's replacing that Edelbog AVS2, as everyone calls it. But as you can see, this one, no choke, full out race carb, double pumper, mechanical secondaries, dual fuel bowls. And this one is just meant for a factory small block. It's got a choke, vacuum secondaries, single fuel inlet. You can see the choke there, and it's just not a good setup for a big cam. Otherwise you have to drill the throttle blades out just to get it in the idle circuit. But with this Holley, there's idle air bleeds, so you can just change out jetting so it'll let more air in at idle. That way you don't have to drill holes in the throttle blades. And then you have a whole lot easier tuning too with the jetting and everything, which is why I decided to swap to a Holley. But let's get to taking that Edelbrock off and getting the new fancy Holley installed. As you can see, I got the Holley sitting up there. The fuel line's not connected yet, so I think I'm gonna have to route it a little bit different from the regulator, which is gonna change anyway. But as you can see, you go to put the throttle cable bracket on, and it's hitting one of the bumpers. So I'm not gonna be able to use this one, but I may just chop it back here for now, just so I can use it and get it all set up, but we're gonna have to see. I'm gonna look for a different one online, but it does look a lot better, and hopefully it will perform a lot better, which I'm 90% certain it will, because Holley just makes a real good product for racing. Like, they're one of the top brands for fuel injection and carburetors. I'm gonna have to break that line loose, twist it down, that way it's a little bit easier to route the hose. But for now, I'm gonna figure out whether I want to chop that or whether I want to save that for a different project, or try and make it work with some longer studs and a spacer. But it should work if I put a longer stud in there, because if I could hold it up about here, it's not going to come up towards it. But we'll have to see. I'm not sure if I want to do that or if I just want to get a different throttle cable bracket, because this one was just a cheap one and it doesn't work for my kick down, which is going to be going away with the new trans I have, because it's going to be a full manual valve body, but I still have to finish putting it together. Alright, as you guys can see, I decided to go ahead and just chop that bracket off. I'm going to have to make something else, or buy something else that'll work better for this carb. Problem is I can't buy a factory one, because since it's a high-rise intake, it doesn't work. But this thing just looks so much better on here. The fuel line, I'm not too big on the routing, but since that regular is going to be moving before next race season, I'm not too worried about it. I'll be getting all new lines and fittings put on. But now I'm going to crank it over a little bit and try and get some fuel into the bowl, see where the levels are set, make sure everything's good there, and maybe try and fire it. Alright, well, as you guys can see, got it installed, got it running. Fuel pressure's right about where it needs to be, right a little above 6. I gotta adjust the float level on it. Float level's a little too high, but sounds good. Runs way better than my Edelbrock did, but that carb just wasn't set up right for this. So that is going to be it for today's video. I'll have hopefully more consistent videos, but we'll see. It depends on the weather, because right now we got a bunch of snow on the ground. Can't really drive it and test it, but once it clears up, I might be able to go test it a little bit, drive it around. But I am planning on getting it painted, so comment below what you think, or what color you think I should paint this. I'm thinking red, but I'm not sure. Also, this is the new track tire for when I go with the twin turbo LS, but that's going to be a while. 32, 14, 15. But that'll do it for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.